Okay, so I know I'm really late to the party on this topic, and I need to issue a little warning for those clicking on this video. I tend to make both sides kind of angry with my opinions, or just little voices on both sides, so you've been forewarned, but I want to make this video. So I'm late to the party. The full disclosure, when Spider-Man 2, Insomniac Spider-Man 2 came out, I was unable to play it. What was that, a year ago, 2 years ago now? There's just been too much going on. I haven't really had the time to focus on video games. But I've been trying to play it here and there, hither and thither, on my brother's console whenever I have time, or whenever, honestly, I feel like it, which hasn't been a lot. I've been very disheartened by it compared to the first Insomniac Spider-Man game, which is one of my favorite video game experiences of all time. But we're not going to talk about all of that. What I want to talk about is the game design of something that I know isn't supposed to bother me. I know I'm not supposed to feel upset by it or have a reaction to it, really. I know this is something that I'm not supposed to be bothered by at all. And I tried not to be bothered by it, but for the longest time, as I knew this was a thing. But I continuously play the game, and it's just started to bother me more and more again. The design for Mary Jane Watson in the game. And once again, I tried to not let it bother me at all throughout the game, but just to give you a little reference about just how little of it I've played in this time, I just got to the Coney Island part of the game where she's off with Peter and Harry in Coney Island, and the clothes she's wearing there, and the way she looks during that entire scenes. And I think, no. Now I know what you're gonna say. JesterBell, do you want corn in video games? I don't know how often I can say the P word in this video without getting demonetized, so we're gonna call the P word corn. JesterBell, do you want corn in video games? Do you want video games to become a gateway to corn? No, I am completely against softcore corn in video games, or video games becoming a gateway to corn in any way, shape, or form. And that was the element of the video that I thought this is probably going to get some people upset with me about this video, even as I'm criticizing these game designs. So no, I'm not for corn in video games. And I'm aware of the argument in favor of these video game designs just looking like normal, regular women. Actually, they don't. And we're going to talk about all of that. And before you interrupt me again and are like, JesterBell, you're a woman. Why do you care so much about what other women look like? Joke's on you. Women care more about other women's looks than men do. But you want to know what a normal, non-sexualized, non-objectified female character in a video game looks like? Mary Jane Watson from the first Spider-Man Insomniac game. That is a perfect design for the character, and it's not sexualized or objectified in the least. That is ridiculous. It did look like the character, though. Now, to get into this, let's talk about who Mary Jane Watson is supposed to be as a character. Mary Jane Watson was based off of actress Anne Margaret when she first appeared in the 60s. And the entire purpose of Mary Jane's character was, back then, she was a supermodel. She was an actress. That was back when Mary Jane used to be portrayed as a, really rambunctious personality and all of that. And the entire point was she stood out from everyone else. She was so attractive. Everyone was shocked. Peter Parker is going out with that girl. That was the purpose of Mary Jane Watson. And that made a dynamic between her and Peter. So that's who Mary Jane is supposed to be. And one of the arguments I've heard in favor of these video game characters is that not every woman has the same body type. Not every woman has to be gorgeous. The problem is Mary Jane Watson was supposed to. That's the character. Like, the same thing can be true of male characters. Like, I was getting in trouble from people when I said that Channing Tatum was not the embodiment of Gambit, and I listed a lot of reasons, including he's not attractive enough right now to play the character, and people got mad at me for saying it. JesterBell, you just need to be personally attracted to this character. No, it's about the expectations of what the source material says about the character. Like, once again, Mary Jane said to be a very attractive character from the source material. Gambit is said to be a character who has seduced countless women, who says that his secondary mutation is that he's irresistible to women. And I'm not convinced that Channing Tatum, pushing 50, in a plastic suit that makes him look fat, is going to be able to achieve that.
Woo, I'm about to make a name for.
That said, hire the hottest actor. You have to play Gambit. Anyway, seriously though, it's about partially the expectation of who the character is from the source material, but also it's just so much more than that. Let's go down with this design for Mary Jane Watson. You might look at it and say that this is a design of a woman without makeup, or that she hasn't done anything to her hair. Well, it's not just that. It's everything about the clothes that she wears in the games. Everything about how her hair is done. Everything about how she is presented each time is done to intentionally make Mary Jane Watson look unattractive, not normal, unattractive. Let's compare how she's dressed in the first game. In the first game, remember, this is a character, she's not trying to be a supermodel like she was in the comics, but she's trying to be a star reporter. And she's also meant to be a character who can maybe get on the action a little bit in the game. And unlike other people, I'm fine with that. But we see her nice, crisp ponytail, nice flattering haircut. She wears makeup, a little earrings, and also the clothes she wears, like a leather brown jacket, orange scarf, brown, red, orange, all complementary colors. My mom would be thrilled. She's also wearing boots. They give her the little bit of a idea that maybe she's ready for action a bit in this scenario. So she fits the character that she is supposed to be in this game. But let's compare to how Mary Jane is presented in the new game. But she's not just portrayed as if she's just not wearing makeup now. She's given a square face, completely different facial structure. She doesn't do anything with her hair. It looks like she just maybe barely brushes it day to day. In the first game, she only had like one outfit that she wore and it looked really nice. In this game, she wears like a frumpy gray sweater and flats. That was the look that took me out of it, when a Coney Island look, where she still looks like this. She's still wearing these frumpy clothes and all that stuff when she's out with her friends. There's another design in the game when she's wearing like a yellowy jacket and a lavender shirt. It's like, compare the first game. Fall colors. It's very visually appealing on sight. This game, we got red, we got like this Toyota orangish yellow, and we got lavender. What are they thinking with this game? Mary Jane looks a whole lot older than she did in the other game. Peter still looks like he's somewhere in his 20s. She looks like maybe she's pushing 38. But setting a lot of this aside, all the little details here, like if you're like, some people argue this is just a Mary Jane without makeup and everything. Mary Jane in the game is portrayed as a character who is trying to get a star reporter job, who is in a relationship with someone, who is a woman living in New York in 2022, 2023, whatever year this game came out, and I don't even know anymore. But most women, the grand majority, wear makeup, earrings, stuff like that. Especially if you're trying to go for a star job, like, or you're in a relationship with someone. Like, Mary Jane's complaining about how she's not getting the job in this game. I'm like, well, maybe if you presented yourself a bit better, maybe you would get the job. Like, the entire argument is we're just portraying women as they would normally look. This is not how a woman in 2024 would normally look. Like, most girls wear makeup, and they like to wear makeup. And the entire argument is we can't have women don't just wear makeup for men. In fact, most of the time women are wearing makeup for themselves, for each other, because women like to wear makeup, nice clothes, all of this stuff. Guess what? Even the women who don't wear makeup usually look pretty great, apart from that. So with Mary Jane and all these other the female video game characters I see, and they're trying to make the argument that they just look naturally what women look like when they're not wearing makeup. Women, when they don't wear makeup, look like men who haven't showered in 5 months. That's pretty insulting. No, most women do not look like this when they take their makeup off. I'm sorry. Now, the thing that people have noticed about Mary Jane in particular is that her model, first of all, looks like the one in the first game, looks completely different than she does in the game. And this has happened with a lot of these characters. But they've noted that maybe Mary Jane looks a lot like the woman who wrote the game. What is going on there? Some people think that she might have been self-inserting herself. I don't know what say she would have on that, or if there's been evidence for that. I guess what I've had in my head over this is that some people were maybe trying to be nice to this. It's trying to do something for this writer, and we're like, hey, we're going to make Mary Jane Watson look like you. If that's what happened, that's very cruel, because I don't think that this lady is unattractive, but I do think that she looks like a woman who works behind the camera on video games, doesn't put much effort into her appearance, just wears clothes that she thinks is comfortable because she's behind the camera, and that's fine. But the problem is that person, a video game writer, is not Mary Jane Watson. Watson, and so you can't make her design the same. And this is actually a really cruel thing to do. Like, imagine taking a person and being like, hey, we're gonna put you as this character who we already based priorly off of a person who works as a professional model, so you constantly get compared to that person. I know this is a ramble, but there's a couple things that bother me about this and that I just couldn't stop being bothered about. First of all, the uglification of these female characters. This, once again, this is just what women look like in real life. Mary Jane Watson, that design in the first game is what a woman would look like in real life. These other designs are intentionally unflattering and uglified, and their whole idea is that, oh, this is just anti-porn, right? Or this is anti-sexism. We don't want people to objectify these female characters. That's not what actually is going on here. First of all, if you're going to put on the facade that you are anti-sexist, I want to point out, isn't it cruel to intentionally uglify female characters? Like, I know that I'm going to get in trouble for talking about this, but what do you want me to do? Am I supposed to clap that you're intentionally uglifying my entire gender because of some sort of weird hang-up that you have about men even finding women attractive at all? Which, once again, as I was saying, most men would probably find, okay, maybe I've just been lucky, but most men I've met in real life, they don't even care about like makeup and clothes and look. They're not so hung up on looks so much like women are. Women just like pretty things. They like to look pretty. They like to look pretty to each other. Men aren't as hung up on that. Like what women look like without their makeup, and unless a man is corn addicted, he would probably find that attractive. What I'm getting at here is you have to put a genuine effort to uglify these characters to make sure that they're unattractive to men, because that's the whole argument, is we shouldn't have these characters be objectified to men or even attractive. And I'm like, isn't that cruel? Like, intentionally uglifying these female characters? How do the models that they get to shape these characters after, how do they feel putting all the effort into getting the right headshots and looking their best in their careers, and then this is what their likeness is turned into in this game? Isn't that cruel? That's the flip side of it. Also, I just want to point out that there's nothing wrong with men finding female characters attractive. Like, there's a difference between objectifying and sexualizing and just finding a character attractive. Like, anyone can. Women can find men attractive, whatever, vice versa. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's normal. It's what nature says to do. That's what's supposed to be. Because of this thing I read in a book once called reproduction, something like that. Like, that's just normal. And here's the thing about it, is that, once again, we're just using Mary Jane as sort of the example in this video. In the first game, she wasn't sexualized at all, and she just looked normal, a normal, attractive female character in a game. But, so we had solved the problem there with any sort of objectification or anything. But now you're going all the way the other way and making it out so now it's wrong to find a female character attractive at all, and you're making them all uglified like this. And what that's doing is, before, if somebody was to criticize this design for Mary Jane as being unattractive and just ugly, they would be laughed off the face of the planet. Because they would be seen for what they are, that you just want the unrealistic, exaggerated thing that porn gives you. But now that this sort of redesign is something that most people can agree looks kind of odd, it's actually opening the doors for the people who just want porn to be able to push this stuff and be like, oh, we miss the good old days with this. And if you criticize them, they're like, what? We just want to see attractive female characters. What are you talking about? And it's actually going to enable those people even more, because guess what? Once again, it's abnormal. It's abnormal to have a problem with female characters looking like female characters. And as everyone pushes back against this or just thinks that it's weird, it's going to make those other people get some foot. But here's the thing. These unattractive female characters, they're on the way out. I know you're seeing a lot of them come out these days. That's because video games take a long time to make. At the time that these would have been greenlit, it would have been a very different era. And now we're changing in that era, but now the games are just now coming out because they take so long to make. This isn't going to matter, and all the old games are probably just going to create mods to change their designs or something. So why does this bother me so much? Why does it bother me? Well, because when I play the game, it's like Mary Jane doesn't look like Mary Jane. And you wonder, why was that change? And you know that it was because there was some weirdo behind the scenes who had a hang-up that had a problem with this original design. And I can't really escape into the game as much as I would want to, because I'm constantly reminded of the weird people behind the scenes that felt the need to even make this decision. I don't know what you possibly expected to achieve. The only thing you're going to achieve, if anything, is just a pushback too far in the other way, where no one takes anyone who has criticism seriously because they're all associated with you. People like you who are weird and unnormal and have hang-ups on things that are natural that nobody else has a hang-up on. That's all I got for you guys today, except for I do want to talk for a minute about Spider-Man 2, Insomniac. I'm just not enjoying it like I did the first one. I think this is the big problem, because there's just so much filler in the game. It's like the first game had such a good story, and I couldn't wait to get on and see what would happen next, and I would always expect to get on the game and get somewhere else. This game, it's like I'll want to see what's happening next in the story, and I'll have to have an extended amount of time where I'm riding a bike or going through Peter's old school or walking through a lab. Or I'll just become invested in someone's story and I'll have to switch to another character. It's just not very immersive. I'm just not enjoying it as much, but these are just my thoughts on this. This is my little rant. What did you think of this rant? Are you mad at me? Tell me in the comments below. Thank you, patrons, as always, for supporting my work. If you want to support me on Patreon, check out the link in the description. And I will let me know what kind of videos you want to see from me next, and I will see you guys next time.